Okay, welcome to Podnutz for June 23rd, 2008. Thanks, everybody, for joining us who's watching. I announced last week on Friday I was getting a new camera and doing a whole new thing with my green screen. Well, let me just talk about that first. That turned into a nightmare because I have a Mac, and I do a lot of my recording on the Mac, and they don't make webcams for a Mac. The only couple... There's an iSight that's built into all the Macs now, just about. And then they used to make a camera called an iSight, which looks like a big bazooka-looking thing that I heard was real expensive and broke a lot, but had a great picture. I looked briefly for one of them. I couldn't find any of those immediately. But there's a site that is called MacCam. Or not, the site's not called MacCam. The program's called MacCam, M-A-C-A-M. And they basically, it's open source. And those guys basically try to get Mac drivers created for all the webcams that are out there. So you could go to Best Buy or go wherever you go and buy a webcam and use it on your Mac. Well, on MacCam's website, because I wanted to get a good quality picture. So on MacCam's website, they say, we have new drivers for some webcams out there. And they listed a bunch of the new drivers that they have for cameras that are out in stock, out in the stores now. And they said, in particular... the webcam for the PS3, it's called the PS3i. I talked about this a little bit on Friday. Has a phenomenal picture. So I'm like, well, that makes it easy because it's only $40 for a PS3i. I'll just get one of them and use MacCam and everything will be fine. So I went out and bought a PS3i, took it home, plugged it in. MacCam found it. Everything was beautiful. The picture was phenomenal, just like they said. So I'm like, this is great. You know, I didn't spend a lot of money. I got a great picture. As soon as I put my backdrop up so I could get the green screen, and it's I went out and I bought a new green background, so it's like very green as opposed to a lime green background I was using before. Put the green screen up. As soon as I put that PS3i, directed it towards me, I turned red. So the camera was trying to compensate or auto-compensate for something, and when it saw all the green behind me, it made me red. So I was beet red. It looked like I was sunburned. And no matter what I did, I could not change the hue. The drivers from MacCam would not let me change the hue. Now, there's programs out there that allow you to change the hue for webcams, but not live when you're streaming over the internet. Really tough to find. I did find something called eyeglasses. It seemed pretty cool, but it didn't work, so... I said, all right, maybe it's the background color I picked. Maybe it's the green behind me that's causing the PS3i to act all funny. So I'm like, I'm going to go buy a different color. So I went out, bought a whole new background. It was fluorescent orange. I'm like, I'm never going to wear anything fluorescent orange. There's nothing in my room that's fluorescent orange, so that would be a fine background for a green screen. It's not technically green screen anymore, but you get the idea. So I turned the PS3i on me for that. And as soon as the PS3i saw the whole fluorescent orange background, it turned me green. So I couldn't change that then. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This thing has a perfect picture. It's perfectly priced. It's exactly what I need. But when I put it onto a solid background, it changes the color of myself. So eventually I just said, I can't. I spent hours and hours trying to figure this thing out. Eventually I took it back to the store, and guess what I bought? A webcam for an Xbox 360. And that's the picture you're seeing now. It's not as clear as the PS3. But it's better than the iSight on my MacCam. And I just think it's ironic that a Microsoft camera is the camera that bailed me out. And I'm on it because they don't make any webcams for a Mac. I had to rely on Microsoft to get into a decent camera. So good job, Microsoft. You know, you're good. Thanks, Mitch. Okay, guys, let's get started on computers. It was a busy day today. Let me just tell you about some of the stuff that we encountered today. Okay, had a Toshiba laptop we were working on. And this is the laptop that I talked about last week that we ran check disk on because it wouldn't get past the boot screen. But we didn't have time to check it. We just started check disk up, then left, and then we came back Monday and tested it out. Now, actually it did finish. I just never powered it up. I powered it down over the weekend, but never had a chance to turn it back on and test it. We were walking out the door. And check disk worked. It booted to into Windows. But Windows was so buggy and there were so many errors in Windows that it was nothing we could do. We did all the repairs we could do. You know, I ran Dial-A-Fix even and a couple other programs. Windows didn't repair that easy, so we're like, let's just do a reinstall. All they have is some pictures and music on there. They had hardly any programs, so it was a prime candidate for a reinstall. So we go to reinstall Windows, and as we're booting up, the thing would not recognize the CD drive. And let's see what happened here. Wouldn't recognize the CD drive. Before, it seemed like it was working fine, but the CD drive was always a little flaky on this machine. So we're working with a machine here with a wounded operating system and a flaky CD drive. Well, this time when we tried to reinstall Windows, we got nothing. I mean, it wouldn't even read the drive, or sometimes it would read it for a couple seconds, or sometimes we would get an error. Sometimes we wouldn't get nothing but a black screen. So we're like, all right, this is a little too weird. It's a motherboard problem. We went to the BIOS. We restored all the defaults to the BIOS, and it booted. And then when it started working. And then after we rebooted again, it didn't work. It was just running too flaky, which indicated to me that it was a hardware problem. Could have been the processor, could have been the motherboard, or it could have been a bad DVD or CD drive, which was our first guess. So we took another DVD drive I had from a Toshiba laptop, put it in there, same problem, nothing. Then it said, all right, well, maybe that drive's bad. So we took another third drive in, put it in. It was having the same problem. So we were certain at that point it wasn't the DVD drive that was the problem. Went into the BIOS, restored the defaults in the BIOS, same problem. So I thought it might have been something on the motherboard. Or actually, I thought it might be even RAM. It could have been RAM or something, some component. Because whenever I think the problem is the motherboard, I first of all hope that it's not. And then second of all, check other components that are attached to the computer that are hardware related that might be causing the problem, like RAM. So I turned the computer upside down. I went to open the RAM. RAM was in there fine. You know, I made sure the connection was clean and everything like that. Then I opened the other connection, or the other door on the bottom of the laptop where the wireless card is. And the wireless card was hanging halfway out of the slot. I can't tell you how many computers we fixed just by checking the wireless card on these laptops. They always have problems. Anyway, since the card was hanging out of its slot, it was shorting out a couple of the leads, I think, because it was sitting at an angle in the slot. So it was probably shorting out some leads that it shouldn't have been touching and causing, havoc with the computer. The computer didn't know what to do with the thing. As soon as we reseated the wireless card inside the laptop, everything worked fine. DVD drive was fine, no flakiness. We reinstalled Windows, no problem there. Problem solved. Okay. Everybody out there getting video? Some people in the chat are saying there's no video. Just let me know in the chat video. Okay.